Hello, my lovely viewers. Welcome again to Mathematics and I. It is the presenter Jefferson, and today on the board we have two questions that we shall be looking at. And question number one says x minus 4 root x plus 3 equal to 0. And question number two says x to 20 plus root 75 is equal to 45. Now we shall be discussing this question, and then we shall see what the results would be. Now, without wasting time, question number one says find x when x minus 4 root x plus 3 is equal to 0. Now, when you are given a question like this, what is the first thing you do? The first thing is to make our root becomes half, because we said root x is the same thing as x raised to the power half. Cube root of x is the same thing as x raised to the power of 1 over 3. So when we do this here, it becomes x minus 4x raised to the power of 1 over 2 plus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, now what is the next thing we do? Now think of two numbers that when you times, you get plus 3, and when you add, you get minus 4. When you times, you get plus 3, and when you add, you get minus 4. And I bet you the two numbers are minus 3 and minus 1. Because when you multiply minus 3 by minus 1, you get plus 3. And then when you add minus 3 plus minus 1, you get minus 4. Now, without wasting time, these two numbers we will use to substitute for minus 4x raised to the power half. So when I'm writing it again, it becomes x minus, x. Now, instead of writing minus 4x raised to the power half, I will write this here, which is what? Minus 3x raised to the power half, and also minus 1x raised to the power half. Then what do we have? Plus 3 equals to 0. Now, we have used the two numbers to replace the middle number. Now, what do we do next? You now factorize. What does these two expressions have in common? Now, they have x raised to the power half in common and not x. Now, why they don't have x in common is because the x here is not really x. It is what? X raised to the power half. But the x here is x raised to the power 1. So it means this x, in terms of power, is greater than this other x. So it means they don't have x in common. Because for you to say they have x in common, it means the power here is 1 and the power here is also 1. So what do they have in common? They have x raised to the power half. They have half in common as powers. Because there's half inside 1 and this is half already. So here becomes x raised to the power half. Okay, now if x raised to the power half divide x, we are going to get x raised to the power half. How? X divided by x raised to the power half. We all know that x here is carrying power 1. So when you are, according to the laws of indices, when you divide bases that are the same and you are dividing, division becomes minus. So here becomes x raised to the power 1 minus half, which is what? X raised to the power half. Okay. Now, if x raised to the power half divide x, I will get x raised to the power half minus, if x raised to the power half divide x raised to the power half, I will get 3. And I'll close my brackets. Now, going to the next, I have the minus sign here. Now, what does these two have in common? They have 1 in common. Now, I'll bring out 1, and I'll open another bracket. When 1 should cancel 1, I'm going to have x raised to the power half left. Now, I can't give plus here, because why? Minus times plus will give us what? Minus. Now, when 1 going to 3, it is also 3 equal to what? 0. Okay, now when you factorize, please you must note the numbers or the expressions inside the bracket must be the same. Now you will see I have x raised to the power half minus 3 and also x raised to the power half minus 3. Now when the brackets are not the same, there's something is wrong, you have to go through your work over and over again. Now, bringing out what is outside the bracket, which is x raised to the power half minus 1, equates to 0. Or, now, the one inside the bracket, x raised to the power half minus 3, also equal to what? 0. Now, without wasting time, here becomes, I am looking for the value of x. Now, what is making x not to stand alone? Minus 1. Now, when minus 1 crosses, it becomes plus 1, which is 0 plus 1. And that is 1. So here becomes x raised to the power half is equal to 1. Or x raised to the power half also is equal to 3 when minus 3 crosses the equality sign. Okay, now we are looking for x. Now the only thing that is making x not to be the subject of the formula now is power half. And when power half crosses equality sign, it becomes what? Raised to the power of 2, which is squared. So here becomes x is equal to 1 raised to the power 2, or x is equal to 3 raised to the power of 2. Now, 1 raised to the power 2 means 1 times 1, which is 5. Sorry, 1 raised to the power 2 means 1 times 1, which is 1. So here becomes x is equal to 1, or 3 raised to the power 2 means 3 times 3, which is what? 9. So it means when we solve the question, x minus 4 root x plus 3 equal to 0, the answers we will be getting are what? 1 and 9. Okay, now this is question number 1. Let us go to question number 2. Question number 2. Okay, now without wasting time, question number 2 says x root 20 plus root 75 is equal to root 45. Okay, now in our last videos I told you whenever a root form is given to you, what the first thing you do is that you take a look at the numbers inside the root. You understand? Now when the numbers inside the root are 8 and above, you have to simplify. And we said when the easiest way for you to simplify is to make use of the LCM method. We said that. Now the first number here is 20 as well, which is greater than 8. So let us see how we can simplify root 20. Now the first number that is going to 20 is 2, which is 10. 2 into 10 is 5, and 5 into 5 is 1. Now, circle the two numbers that are the same. Now 2 times 2 gives us 4, so the two numbers are 4 times 5. So here becomes x root 4 times 5 plus, now I have to look for the LCM of 75. Now the first number that's going to 75 is 3, which will give us 25, and then the next number is 5, which will give us 5, and 5 into 5 is 1. Now circle the two numbers that are the same, and when you multiply them, you will get 25. So the two numbers are 25 times 3. So come here. Okay, and then the last number we have there is 45. Also, the LCM of 45 will be, first number is 3. 3 into 45 gives us 15. 3 into 15 gives us 5. And 5 into 5 gives us 1. Now circle the two numbers that are the same. I'm going to get 9 when I multiply. So the two numbers are 9 times 5. Okay, now let us simplify. Now the square root of 4 gives us 2. Now 2 times x gives us 2x, and what do we have inside? Root 5. Plus square root of 25 gives us 5. And what do we have inside? Root 3. Square root of 9 gives us 3. And what do we have inside? Root 5. Okay, now don't forget, we are looking for x. Now in order for us to get x, 5 root 3 has to cross. Now why would 5 root 3 has to leave? Because 5 root 3 is not carrying x. So when plus 5 root 3 goes to the right hand side, it becomes minus 5 root 3. Now automatically here becomes 2x root 5 is equal to 3 root 5 minus 5 root 3. Okay, now we are looking for x. Now in order for us to get x, 2 and root 5 has to leave. And how do we do that? It is by dividing both sides by 2 root 5. Now when 2 cancel 2 and root 5 cancel root 5, what do I have left here? X. Now class, remember we said under rationalization of sort that you are not expected to leave your answer when the denominator carries a root. So what do we do now? We have to rationalize. And how do we rationalize? It becomes whatever you have down, use to multiply up and down. So here becomes 3 roots 5 over 5 roots 3 all over 2 roots 5 times 2 roots 5 over 2 roots 5. Okay, now when we do that, we're going to have this. It becomes 3 times 2 gives us 6. 5 times 5 gives us 25. Minus 5 times 2 gives us 10. 3 times 5 gives us 15. Over 2 times 2 gives us 4. And 5 times 5 gives us 25. Okay, now we have to clean this way. Alright, we now have this now. X is equal to 6 into the bracket of 5. Now how did I get 5? The square root of 25 is 5. Minus 10 root 15 over 4 bracket 5, which is also the square root of what? 25. Okay, now 6 times 5 gives us 30 minus 10 root 15 over 4 times 5. 4 times 5 gives us 20. Now here becomes over 20. Now, if you take a look at the numbers that we have 30, we have minus 10, and we have 20. Now there's a number that can cancel up, and this number is 10. Now, when 10 cancel 30, I have 3. When 10 cancel 10, what do I have left here? Root 15. And when 10 cancel 20, I'm going to have 2. So it means the answer to this question is 3 minus root 15 all over 2. So class, we have come to the end of the class, and I believe you have learned something new. If this is your first time of joining us, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also don't forget to leave a comment and share. So we'll meet again in our next video. Have a nice day.